The Salem witch trials were a series of hearings and prosecutions of people accused of witchcraft in colonial Massachusetts between February 1692 and May 1693. Here's a detailed overview. Background and causes. Belief in witchcraft. The belief in witchcraft and the devil's power to give certain humans, witches, the ability to harm others was widespread in Europe and colonial New England. Social and political tensions. Salem Village, now Danvers, Massachusetts, was experiencing social and political turmoil, including a recent smallpox epidemic, fears of Native American attacks, and a rivalry with Salem Town, now Salem, Massachusetts. Initial symptoms. In January 1692, 9-year-old Elizabeth, Betty Parris, and 11-year-old Abigail Williams, the daughter and niece of Reverend Samuel Parris, began experiencing fits, including violent contortions and screaming. The outbreak of hysteria. Accusations begin. The girls accused 3 women, Tituba, Sarah Good, and Sarah Osborne, of bewitching them. Tituba confessed to being a witch, claiming she had been coerced by the devil. Spread of accusations. More girls began exhibiting similar symptoms, and the accusations spread rapidly throughout the community. Legal proceedings. Special court. In May 1692, a special court convened in Salem to hear the cases. The first convicted witch, Bridget Bishop, was hanged in June 1692. Spectral evidence. The court allowed spectral evidence, testimony that the spirit or spectre of the accused had appeared to the witness in a dream or vision, to be used in the trials. Massachusetts governor's intervention. Governor William Phips eventually intervened, ordering that spectral evidence not be used and establishing a new court that required more concrete evidence. The trials and executions. Number of victims. By the end of the trials, 19 people had been hanged and 5 others had died in custody. Additionally, a man was pressed to death under heavy stones. Notable victims. Among the executed were Giles Corey, who was pressed to death for refusing to enter a plea, and Rebecca Nurse, a respected member of the community. End of the trials. Public opinion shifts. By September 1692, public opinion began to turn against the trials, and the hysteria started to subside. Pardons and compensation. In May 1693, Governor Phips ordered the release of those still in custody, and the Massachusetts General Court later annulled the guilty verdicts and granted indemnities to the families of the accused. Legacy. Legal reforms. The trials led to changes in U.S. court procedures, including the rights to legal representation and cross-examination of accusers. Cultural impact. The Salem witch trials have become a powerful metaphor for the dangers of mass hysteria and false accusations, influencing works such as Arthur Miller's play The Crucible, 1950. The Salem witch trials remain a dark chapter in American history, reminding us of the importance of justice, rationality, and the protection of individual rights. Bridget Bishop was the first person executed for witchcraft during the Salem witch trials. Here's a detailed look at her life and the events leading up to her execution. Early life. Birth. Bridget was born in Norwich, England, around 1632. Her maiden name was Magnus, but she later adopted the last name Playfair from her paternal grandmother. Marriages. Bridget was married 3 times. Her first marriage was to Captain Samuel Wesselby in 1660, and they had 2 sons and a daughter. After Samuel's death, she married Thomas Oliver in 1666, with whom she had 1 daughter, Christian. Following Thomas's death in 1679, Bridget married her 3rd husband, Edward Bishop, a prosperous sawyer, life in Salem. Taverns and property. Bridget and Edward Bishop ran 2 taverns in Salem town, and Bridget was known for wearing bright and exotic clothes, which was unusual for the time. Troubled relationships. Bridget had a contentious relationship with her 2nd husband, Thomas Oliver, and was brought to court multiple times for fighting and using foul language. Accusations of witchcraft. Initial accusations. Bridget was accused of bewitching her 2nd husband, Thomas Oliver, to death, but the case was dismissed due to lack of evidence. Salem witch trials. On April 19, 1692, Bridget was arrested and brought to Salem village for examination. The afflicted girls, including Abigail Williams and Anne Putnam Jr., claimed that Bridget's spectre tormented them. Trial. Bridget's trial began on June 2, 1692, and lasted 8 days. Witnesses testified that Bridget's spectre had pinched, choked, and bitten them. Despite her protests of innocence, she was found guilty. Execution. Hanging. Bridget Bishop was hanged on June 10, 1692, becoming the first person executed during the Salem witch trials. Legacy. Bridget's execution marked the beginning of a tragic series of events that led to the deaths of 19 people and the imprisonment of many others. Exoneration. Modern recognition. In 2001, Bridget Bishop was exonerated by the Massachusetts legislature, acknowledging the injustice of her execution. Bridget Bishop's story is a poignant reminder of the dangers of mass hysteria and the importance of justice and rationality. From all of us at the History Explorer, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to get notified when we drop new content.